Welcome to the RGVSports.com Area Round Football Chat. I'm Brian Sandalo, and I'm joined by 35A guy Todd Orodenker, 31-5A expert David Hinojosa, and 32-4A Swami Dennis Silva. And we're just going to jump right into it. Looking back at what happened in the by-district round, the big surprise was District 31-5A falling flat on its face. Dave Hinojosa, what happened? Did we overrate that district, underrate 32-5A? What's going on here?
I think there was kind of a big I think people mistook a competitive district with a lot of parity, and mistook that and thought it was a strength deal, and that definitely wasn't the case. As we found out, as it was proven this past weekend. I think the District 31-5A from 1 to 8, with the exception of PSJ, was pretty competitive, and I think the team that finished second to last, PSJ Memorial, was a factor. They knocked out basically Mac High and PSJ North in the playoffs.
And San Benito was competent too.
And San Benito too, exactly. But this surprised me. The only result that surprised me really was the Brownsville Veterans beating Wesco East. I did not see that happening at all. I thought East had that one locked up. I felt that was the game that was the easiest to figure out, and it turned out it wasn't at all.
Yeah, I guess 31-5A was maybe middle heavy. I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I would say that as well. I mean, it was not a. You look at Wesco East, they didn't dominate. I mean, they won the district. They actually lost their last game, ended up getting some help from San Benito to secure that district championship, but. Wesco High is the only team still alive. So
who would have seen that one coming? Because I didn't think they played that well going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and they've been the hardest team to figure out for me. They've lost some games that I just didn't expect them to lose, and they've won games that I didn't expect them to win, and this was the case against Los Fresnos.
Yeah, I just couldn't get that one, and I think...
are you going to apologize?
Yes, I'm glad that you reminded me. I've been ragging on 32-5A football. I know Todd Orodenker has been.
Not as much as you.
Yeah, you have been. I know that Dennis Silva is guilty by association, but me most. I've been making fun of them, so I guess I owe them an apology.
Apologize.
I'm very sorry to all of my friends.
It's a mensch thing to do.
Yeah, I am a mensch. You are right. I am very sorry to my friends down in Harlingen and Brownsville. Los Fresnos, I don't think I owe them an apology because they lost.
Well, only one Brownsville school made the playoffs, so you don't. It's a half apology.
Right.
The other Brownsville schools aren't even good.
It's a half-hearted one. Yeah. Well,
but good job for Brownsville Vets.
Yeah, great job.
That was an amazing job. I mean, I did not. That's the one that surprised me out of all the results from across the board. That's the one that shocked me.
Can we say that David Cantu has vaulted himself as the front runner for Coach of the Year?
No, the front runner is Lanny Wilson for Harlem.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
After how bad they've been for years.
I would say Philly. I think he's headed to Philly.
Well, Andy Reid, maybe come down and coach PSJ North or something.
Hey, speaking of middle heavy. Yeah. So.
Speaking of awful coach down.
No, we don't want to talk about Andy Reid that way because he's not worth our time.
No, he's not.
No, but something else a bit surprising. Todd, our number 2 team in the Valley, goes down to Laredo Alexander 35-24, and it probably wasn't even that close.
No.
So to repeat the question about 31-5A, what the heck happened there?
His name's Xavier Skaggs.
And
yeah, he's pretty good.
Pretend I know nothing about Laredo football and explain that to me. Just pretend. Yeah.
You're an expert at Laredo football, but Alexander's a pretty good team. As people know in Laredo, they kind of shift all the talent to Alexander and United, so they kind of split there. And United lost their quarterback, which is why Sherry Lynn beat them by 800 points in that game on Friday, and Alexander did not. They have Brian Swain, Aaron Swain, his older brother Brian.
Right.
So that in the family, the dad's the offensive coordinator, and they still have Xavier Skaggs, who's been there for 3 years. Tore up Westlaco 2 years ago in the area round. Tore up Brownsville Pace last year in the area round, and now he did it to Donna and By District. So it's a good little player, and Donna just couldn't get any offense going, and they couldn't stop that kid. And
sounds like Donna fell behind a bit, and that's not exactly how they feel comfortable.
That's also part of the problem that they are not a team that can. They can throw the ball, but that's not exactly how they play. Yeah. They haven't played that way the entire season. Even with Sherry Lynn, they were neck and neck. They could still use Aldo Silva. And here they needed to just kind of get out of their comfort zone, and that didn't help.
Couldn't do that. Now, Dennis, know that you were a former Laredoite, whatever it is. Do Laredo teams kind of get up to play the Valley kind of the same way Valley teams feel about Corpus and San Antonio, or how do they view teams over here.
Yeah, in a sense, Laredo feels that they're looked at, Corpus, Valley, and then Laredo. They look at themselves at the bottom of the stack. And looking at Alexander, I mean, they just got an infusion of talent there. You mentioned Skaggs. Swain is just a sophomore.
Yeah.
And Alex Bryant is a receiver. I think he's got something like 1,200 yards.
Yeah, well, they have a great spread offense there, and they feature one receiver, and Bryant's their guy, and he gets a lot of action.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if they take it personally, but they look at to the point they may have a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, although they've had recent success in the past 2 or 3 years now, where they feel like, hey, there's a lot of people who think the Valley programs are better than us, so let's try and go prove something.
They were in the third round pretty recently, right?
The last 2 years?
Yeah, but this is a team that Cherryland blew them out this year. Ed Couch blew them out. This year they got trucked by Alice, this Laredo Alexander team, so this is an upset.
So this says a lot about Donna.
This says a lot about Donna, no matter how you look at it. I mean, I know Skaggs is a heck of a player, but
you got
Donna to lose this game.
You got to beat that team.
Also, speaking of Alex Bryant, he started the season as their quarterback because they didn't know if Aaron Swain was the guy for them. 3 games, I think, in that Edcouch game, 2 games he started. I think in Edcouch games they moved him out and they just stuck with Swain the rest of the way. So I think they were still trying to figure out their quarterback situation.
They figured it out, but I think that's enough to talk about Laredo Alexander on the RGV podcast.
Well, no, they're playing Weslaco, so we're going to
talk about them a little bit coming up. But 32-4A, Dennis, I got to be honest, not too much was surprising, but got to say, Mission High allowing 36 points. I mean, come on. I thought Mario Pena was Mr. Defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was just... I mean, they turned the ball over. Ray was able to... I mean, Ray has an explosive offense to begin with, and when you turn the ball over and give them even more possessions, it's just a matter of time. And Mission, they kept blitzing, they kept sending the house, and Ray screen passes here. They had no problems dealing with it. I think Mission did not know how to react to people solving the defense.
Yes. Does Mario Pena know how to react when someone has an idea of what he's doing?
Well, I don't know if he does, but he certainly didn't show it last week, and I know people haven't solved it for most of this district season. So I think, and usually he's good at adjustments. He really is after halftime, but you just saw really no adjustments, and he was almost stubborn in thinking it's a matter of time where we're going to get a couple of turnovers and we're going to turn.
That doesn't always happen.
Exactly.
Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was this the Mario Pena that was forced out of San Benito, and not the Mario Pena that was 9-0 going into that game last week?
I don't know what it was. I just think that maybe they got a bad matchup because Ray, they throw the ball around a lot.
They do throw the ball around.
They can keep up. If they give up a bad score, they can come back and keep scoring the ball though.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just, like you said, a really bad matchup. You're going to have teams that you just match up horribly against, and this just happened to be one of those teams that worked that way for Mission.
Yeah, but looking around the rest of 32-4A, can't say I'm surprised. Flower Bluff Mission Veterans wasn't as close as the score indicated, 49-37. Ed Couch also Corbett Christy Miller. I know you're high on Ed Couch. We'll talk about them a little bit.
How about that Ed Couch also?
How about them? Yeah, we haven't heard enough about them at all season.
Hopefully we'll have a story or two.
They kind of been under the radar a little bit.
Yeah. Have we covered them at all this year?
I don't think so. I need to really start getting out there more.
How often do they practice?
I don't know.
What is their practice schedule like?
Yeah, what's going on out there? Yeah. And then Alice, 31, Mercedes 15, kind of a snoozer.
I agree. I do think a lot of people thought Mercedes was going to take that, though. Coming in...
No, I didn't give him a shot. Alice is pretty good this year. Mercedes...
Yeah, they were good, but I think people just... Okay, maybe people expected more out of Mercedes than a 16-point decision against Alice when there's two very evenly matched teams, and it seemed Alice had control of this one pretty much throughout.
Yeah. Now, I guess moving on now, looking ahead now, of course, the big game of the week, very clearly, Brownsville Veterans, Del Rio. I mean, Harlingen High, Sherryland.
You can't help but get it digging, can you?
No, that game doesn't quite have the same sex appeal as Harlingen High, Sherryland.
It's an inappropriate way to put it, but go ahead.
It's a strange, it's an odd way to say it.
Remember, we're talking about teenage boys, but go ahead. It's okay.
Anyway, Harlingen High, Sherryland. Todd.
Yes, sir.
You're going to be there. You're going to be covering it.
I hope
it's
so.
only Tuesday night. We're doing this podcast. Is there any buzz around this yet? I mean, what kind of vibe?
Well, I've been in a hole for the last 2 days trying to recover from last week, so I haven't really talked to anybody. But I'm sure that
the Eagles are bothering you that much?
No, not at all. Not in the least bit. But I had been out of the loop for the last 2 days. But I'm going to go to Sherryland tomorrow. I'm sure it'll kind of pick up on the hype, and everything will start from that point on. But this is obviously two of the premier programs.
Probably the two.
Maybe the two. I mean, Sherryland has not had the postseason success of Harlingen As of late, Harlingen has made the third round since 2008. Every year since 2008, and 2008 was the last year that Sherryland made the third round. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different, but this is obviously a matchup between two teams that are up there in Valley and Valley Lore, so it should be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to kind of test that whole Harlingen mystique type thing, you know.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's like the boogeyman.
If Harlingen wins this game, then it exists. Because Sherryland is more talented, and they should win this game.
That's the thing. Paper. It's just like this is a time. This is Harlingen's time. This is where they shine, and they haven't had I don't think they've had a bad regular season. I think they had a couple of losses early that kind of set them back. Now, they're not the Harlingen team of old, obviously.
No.
But, Sherryland has had a history of not coming up big in the big moments, and this is a kind of game...
We're not talking just about football here either.
This is kind of the game that they, lose. Yeah. So, and we'll see. Sherryland should win this game. On paper, they should win this game. But, man, don't count Harlingen out at all.
But this is Sherryland's well aware of that, and I'm talking to them all year. They preach going 15-0 and winning a state title and all that stuff. But
and Danica Patrick is single, by the way. Could they?
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No. Could they be overhyped? Could they be overhyping themselves for this game? Could they maybe possibly come out so amped up that they either too much or maybe no emotion? Is that possible?
They're pretty reserved. The game against Donna didn't seem anybody was too crazy. They came out on that first possession and scored, and they won that.
But the atmosphere at the Donna game won't be the same as 15,000 people at Bobby Lackey.
It's going to be the same atmosphere, just more people.
It'll be a bigger atmosphere.
Obviously it's going to be probably double the crowd and not their home stadium and all that kind of goes into it. But the coach Ron Anami keeps saying they're a humble team and all that stuff. And you can buy into the coach speak, you can not. But I don't see them getting too crazy for this game. I think they're a pretty level-headed team, and they really haven't had it's not like Harlingen where you've had the previous success. Yeah. They really haven't had any kind of success.
They have to prove
they have to prove it. They do have a chip on their shoulder because they, as a program, haven't done it in the past few years, and especially this group of seniors.
And Ron Adame's never done it.
And he's a rookie coach. He hasn't done it, so I think they have a lot to prove, more so than they have. Then they're going to go in as the 2 touchdown favorites.
Right. Who said anything about betting lines here? What's going on?
Well, after last week, I don't want to bet.
Was that Harris?
Is that the Harris line?
The Harris line?
Was that Caesar's?
Yeah, Glance Culver.
The Ordenker has them at 16.5.
Wow, okay. I'll take Harlingen.
I'll take
the points.
Give me the points.
Give me the points.
All right. Now, other than that, obviously, as I said, Harlingen High Sherryland's the big game of the week to look at, but a couple other interesting ones. I know, Dennis, you're quite interested in the game at Hero Stadium Friday night. Ed Couch Elsa, the Nail, against Port Lavaca Calhoun, the Hammer. Dennis, you seem like you don't think it's going to be quite like that. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, for my interests and to kind of build up me going out there, I have to kind of believe that Ed Couch has somewhat of a shot. But, yeah, Port Lavaca has beaten them 3 out of the 4 times in the area round in the last 6 years. Ed Couch also just strikes me as different than most teams I watch in the Valley, though. They have a lot of pure athletes where players aren't pigeonholed into one. He's just a running back, but he can't receive, or they're just a receiver, but they can't run. They seem to have a lot of athletes, 5 or 6, that can just make a difference and make plays at any times. And that's why, I know everyone's picking Port Lavaca. I am picking Port Lavaca. There's a reason they're 10-0 and ranked number 8 in the state, but I just tend to, Ed Couch also, throughout this whole season, has surprised me, and it wouldn't surprise me either if they made it close, made a competition of it or something like that.
No, those kids play hard. They play tough. I'm not saying they don't, but it seems like that you need like a real star to kind of be able to take over.
That's true.
And does Ed Couch have that?
But Port Lavaca doesn't really have that either.
Yeah, but Port Lavaca also is 10-0.
That's true.
Maybe this is the kind of game where it's close for like the first 2.5, 2 quarters, and then just the size and something like, Port Lavaca's talent and size kind of wearing down by the 4th.
That happened last year,
it's
too.
True. I don't know why. I also don't know why they're playing at Hero Stadium either.
What's going on with that?
I have no idea. I don't know whose decision that was. I haven't already asked.
I know it's a beautiful stadium, but there's a lot of places between there.
Maybe they just feel like a road trip. I don't know.
Hasn't Ed Couch been upstate enough this year?
not the kids.
No, they probably agree to. They agree to flip, and then Ed Couch wants neutral, maybe Kingsville or Alice or something closer to them, and then PLC wants something closer to them, and PLC wants to flip to go to San Antonio. That's kind of how it went. That's how it went for the Edinburgh schools. Why they wound up there in San Antonio.
Maybe Port Lavaca is figuring they're going to have to go to San Antonio the next week anyway. Might as well get used to the track.
Something like that. Yeah, PLC probably wanted to play in San Antonio when the flip.
Yeah, whatever. And I guess another game that we have just two Valley teams: Edinburgh North, Harlingen South. Todd, you know Edinburgh North very well. I don't see how they have a shot. I mean, they have a shot. They found the way. They lost to Don and Cheryl, and that's it. But they found a way against Economides and against Edinburgh High and against Eagle Pass. They found the way. It's not always pretty. It's actually never pretty with them, but they have a good defense, and offensively they string together 1, 2, 3 drives. South seems like they have a better defense. And they do.
I do not expect Edinburgh North to win this game. I think it's eventually going to catch up with them.
Yeah, I got to see South against Rowe, and they did a great job slowing down that Rowe team. I mean, which that's all you can do. You're not going to stop them, but I can't imagine. I've never seen North play. I can't imagine they have anywhere close.
And what they did to Rowe, 41-21.
If they can shut down that Rowe offense, they might shut out Edinburgh North.
And South's got some good athletes. That Jadon Taylor's really good. He's really good. He's not a fast guy, but he's very shifty, and he's just got great running back instincts. He just knows where to.
Montemayor is a good quarterback.
Yeah, and he's a good quarterback too. And Nick Garcia, just a great athlete. He had a pick last week, and he caught a touchdown pass.
And they made it. And they made it through the exceedingly difficult 32-5A.
So. Well, you got to give Lanny Wilson a great job. He did a great job with that team. I mean, it was in disarray. He kind of took it over and he's really owned that team, and that team's playing hard. They're a good team. I just don't see North winning this.
The only thing is they have a very good defense, and that first half against Sherryland when they played a couple weeks ago, they did really shut down Sherryland for that first half. Sherryland had those returns from Landez, the 109.9, all that stuff. So, and
just a weird, fluky, bizarre game.
Yeah, and so that got to be, and then they got about a 3 or 4 touchdown lead going into halftime, and then at halftime, Sherryland just offensively took over. So North does have the kind of defense that could grind this out into about an 8.
They'll have to hold them to minus.
It would have to. They would need that type of performance that they had the first half against Sherryland the entire game.
It's not going to happen.
All right, thank you, Nostradamus.
It's just not. No, and now looking ahead to some third round games at Couch Elsa, if they pull off the miracle, we'll have to play Cedar Park, Vista Ridge. That's not. Or San Antonio Brent. That's not going to happen. Brownsville Veterans. If they get past Del Rio.
Hey, they could get past Del Rio.
But we're not talking about. Will they be Smithson Valley?
Okay, they're not getting past Smithson Valley.
Brandeis.
The thing for Brownsville Vets is if Del Rio's quarterback is not playing, as he did not play against Econ, Brownsville Vets will win that game.
Okay, that's fine.
Then good for you.
Let's give Brownsville make the third round. Do you realize if a Brownsville team makes the third round, that's like pandemonium? That's like beyond. That's like a state championship in Brownsville.
Almost like if Porter wins.
I think that means that there's something seriously wrong with our playoff system.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Hey. Weslaco has Converse Judson or Northside over San Antonio Connor.
Yes, none of these things are
Edinburgh North, Harlingen South, Civil Steel. It's not going to happen.
No.
Sherryland, Harlingen will get
shot.
San Antonio.
Madison's really good.
Yeah. Or San Antonio East Central. Any of these teams have a chance in the third round? Anybody?
The only one that has a chance is the Sherryland Harlingen winner.
And Madison, though, is pretty good.
Yeah. But I think if that's if not that we're betting guys here.
No,
but
well, not on high school.
I take a flyer on the money line if there was such a thing.
But
Sherryland.
One thing I want to see.
I don't think Harlingen has a chance. They got lost last year, and their team's not as good. Sherryland, just because the offense, maybe something crazy could happen, but I don't.
Hopefully that game's on TV.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a better
broadcast.
Anyway,
I think we're done next week. I think we can safely say that.
We're pretty sure, but you don't know. But one thing I want to see one of these teams that gets to the third round have the stones to flip. And not go up to San Antonio and be like the sacrificial lambs. Oh, we get to go to the Riverwalk. We get to go by SBC Center. I want to AT&T Center. Just have a shot. Try to get a team in the Valley and see what happens.
Well, those flips probably already happened because they always do this stuff in advance.
Well, I think
so. We already know. So the answer's already out there, and I can guarantee you, Coach Tony with Westaco flip for home field.
Good for him,
because I know he does that.
Good for him. I don't want to see we get to go up to San Antonio, see the sights, whatever, and then get beaten 58.
Shamu's there.
And get beaten 58-0. What's the point of that? And that's what I admired McAllen Memorial for that last year, and it almost paid off. That's the only way that these Valley teams are going to win. Is if they bring them here. They bring them down here.
Harlingen won in neutral field last year against Warren.
Harlingen last year was a different animal, all right? Like, I remember Wesco East last couple years before, they would just go up there, get their brains beaten in by Cedar Park, but hey, they made it to the Alamo Dome. It's a special place to play. No, it's not if you get your butt kicked 48-7.
Yeah, but...
Is that an opinion about this?
But a lot of people drank a lot of margaritas, parents did.
Yeah, but I don't get to do that, all right?
Well...
That's all it's about you.
Oh, wait, you can't drink margaritas in Westlaco? You can't drink margaritas.
They're a lot better on the Riverwalk.
They're a lot better on the Riverwalk, man.
I'll take your word for that. But something that grinds my gears, and then when teams go up to San Antonio, just volunteer to get beat.
Yeah, we get mileage. Anyway.
We do get mileage.
We get mileage, but
one more thing to go. Last week, Tony Harris, 17 seasons in charge, and will not be an 18th at Mac High. He is now the assistant director of maintenance or something for Mac High?
Yes. He doesn't know what that is.
What is that?
He doesn't know.
What were you? I mean, this
for the wellness center. Is he working at the wellness center?
Bus bar?
No, those are filled.
Those jobs are filled. But I mean, surprise, shock. I mean, what did you?
I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. I guess you can say. I was surprised. I mean, because he seemed to be.
He's like the face of that school.
Yeah, he's the face of the school. I mean, he kind of, became synonymous with it. But you have, there's a change in the guards. There's a new superintendent there. There's a new athletic director there, and
and he's not a part of the new crew.
He's not there. Yeah, and let's just face it, football is about politics, and Harris went for that AD job and lost out to her. I don't.
Probably wasn't a great sign.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know if that factored into it, and he didn't tell me that. But it's probably like you said, not a good sign.
No,
and but you know what? Mac High had 3 chances to make the playoffs, and they lost all 3 games.
Yeah,
they were 4-1 at one point in district. They ended up 4-4 now in the playoffs. I mean,
that'll get you fired.
You got to win. I mean, you have to win those games.
Were his results even that good the last few years?
He's been kind of pedestrian. His results have been pedestrian. He never really made a big playoff run.
Since like
kind of got there. And, I think that was kind of maybe the year. But what was that? 2000? That was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And you could only ride that for so long, and I think he did. Now, I'm not criticizing him in the sense that he was a very beloved coach there at Mac High, and I know a lot of people were upset by it.
That's tough when you have 3 schools.
But it's football, and you're the head high school football coach anywhere in Texas. You got to win, and you got to produce results,
especially when there's a change of the guard on top of it.
And he didn't have that on his side, and I think if he made the playoffs, he would have been okay. But I think the fact that he lost the serve 3 times, and he didn't produce, lost those games. He kind of gave the powers that be, the excuse to get rid of him.
Very interesting. It'll be interesting to see somebody else wear. I don't think they'll be wearing the yellow shirt and purple tie, though.
No, I do not think so. And I think it's going to be everyone is going to be gone. That's just
the whole.
Couple of people that I know who have been in the business tell me you get rid of a coach that early after the season. It's because it's a house cleaning thing.
Tony Harris to Ed Couch Elsa? No.
That would not work.
All right. And on that note, before I say something else stupid, we're just going to call it a day. I'm Brian. This is Todd Ordanker, David Hinojosa, Dennis Silva. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week for the Valley Week. Talk to you later.